What if one of the most powerful leaders in Britain wasn't facing his biggest challenge because of the opposition, but because of questions? Questions about expensive gifts, questions about political judgment, questions about trust. And then, the internet added another explosive layer to the story. Posts claiming secret connections, hidden relationships, and even links to one of the most infamous scandals in modern history. But how much of it is actually true? And how much is simply rumors spreading faster than facts? Tonight, we're opening the files, not to repeat internet gossip, but to uncover what really happened behind the headlines. Because sometimes, the biggest political scandal isn't what people know, it's what people believe. Welcome to Scandal Files US. If you enjoy professional investigative documentaries covering politics, corruption, power, and global controversies, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because every week, we uncover stories the headlines don't fully explain. Now, let's begin. Keir Starmer's political journey didn't begin in Parliament. Long before becoming Prime Minister, he built his reputation inside Britain's legal system. He served as Director of Public Prosecutions, one of the country's most respected legal positions. His image was clear, professional, disciplined, serious. Unlike many politicians, he rarely relied on dramatic speeches or emotional campaigns. Instead, he promised competence, integrity, and stability. For millions of British voters, Starmer represented a fresh chapter after years of political turmoil. When his party secured a landslide victory, expectations couldn't have been higher. Many believed Britain had entered a new political era. But history has shown something interesting. The higher a politician climbs, the harder the fall can feel. And within months, the headlines began changing. But because of several smaller controversies that slowly started damaging public confidence. At first, most people ignored them. Then journalists started asking difficult questions. Soon, those questions became national headlines. And suddenly, Keir Starmer found himself facing the biggest political test of his career. The first controversy was something few expected. Not corruption, not criminal allegations, but expensive gifts, also known as the Freebies controversy. At first glance, the controversy didn't seem like the kind of scandal that ends political careers. There were no police raids, no secret recordings, no dramatic courtroom scenes. Instead, it started with questions about expensive gifts and hospitality. Reports revealed that Keir Starmer had accepted gifts, including clothing, hospitality, and event tickets, that were declared under the UK's parliamentary rules. Legally, members of Parliament are allowed to accept certain gifts if they are properly declared in the official register. Supporters argued that Starmer had followed the rules. They pointed out that transparency laws exist for exactly this reason, to ensure the public knows what elected officials receive. But critics weren't convinced. They asked a different question. Just because something is allowed, does that make it the right decision? That question quickly became the center of the political debate. Newspapers, television panels, and political commentators began discussing whether accepting expensive benefits was consistent with Starmer's promise to restore trust in politics. The issue wasn't simply about money. It was about public perception. For years, Starmer had presented himself as a leader who would hold government to a higher ethical standard. Now, opponents argued that even legally declared gifts could undermine that message. As the media spotlight intensified, every new headline added more pressure. Political rivals seized the opportunity. Commentators questioned whether the controversy reflected poor judgment rather than wrongdoing. Meanwhile, online discussions became even more dramatic. Across social media, users began connecting unrelated stories together. Old photographs, misleading screenshots, unverified claims. In today's digital world, however, viral content often spreads because it is shocking, not because it is accurate. By this stage, the political conversation had changed. The debate was no longer only about gifts. It had become a battle over trust, public image, and the power of online narratives. And once doubt enters public opinion, even facts can struggle to catch up. It was whether the damage to his reputation had already been done. Politics is rarely decided by a single headline. More often, it's shaped by a series of moments that slowly change how the public sees a leader. For Keir Starmer, the controversy surrounding gifts arrived at a critical time. Voters expected a government that would restore confidence in politics after years of public frustration. Instead, the debate shifted away from policy and toward ethics. Political opponents accused Starmer of failing to meet the high standards he had promised. Supporters responded that there was an important difference between poor political judgment and breaking the law. As the arguments continued, one fact remained clear. Public trust is one of the most valuable assets any political leader possesses. And once that trust begins to weaken, every future decision is viewed through a different lens. The internet made the situation even more complicated. Algorithms rewarded the most dramatic headlines. Short clips were shared without context. Old stories resurfaced. Speculation was repeated as if it were fact. In that environment, rumors could reach millions of people before professional journalists had the chance to verify them. The claims linking Starmer to Jeffrey Epstein became a powerful example of this phenomenon. Despite their popularity online, no credible public evidence has shown that Keir Starmer had personal ties to Epstein. Yet the rumors themselves became part of the political story, not because they were proven, but because they influenced public conversation. This raises an important question. In the digital age, can a politician lose public confidence simply because enough people repeat the same claim? Or does truth eventually prevail over misinformation? History suggests the answer isn't always simple. Some leaders recover after controversy by rebuilding public trust through transparency and accountability. Others find that even when no laws are broken, the perception of poor judgment can leave a lasting mark. As for Keir Starmer, his political future will depend less on viral social media posts and more on how voters judge his leadership over time. Will the Freebies controversy become a footnote in history? Or will it be remembered as the moment when public confidence began to fade? Only time and the voters can answer that question. Because in politics, facts matter. But perception can change history. This has been Scandal Files US. If you enjoyed this investigation and want more deep dives into political scandals, hidden controversies, financial crimes, and the stories behind the headlines, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next investigation. And remember, always question the headline. Always follow the evidence. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next case. Scandal Files US, signing off.